Shoma loved her husband deeply, not the loud kind of love people show outside, not the kind that post picture every week. Her own love was quiet, real, loyal. She was the kind of wife who remembered the small things. How Uche liked his tea, how tired he looked after work, how he smiled when their little daughter ran into his arms. For years, she believed her home was safe, not perfect, but safe. Until one evening changed everything. That night, rain tapped softly against the window. Their daughter Amara was already sleeping. Shoma was folding clothes in the bedroom when Uche's phone lying on the bed lighted up. She was not the kind of woman who searched phone. She had never needed to, but the message appeared clearly on the screen before it went dark. I missed last night already. Shoma froze. For a second, she thought maybe she had read it wrong. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe it was work. Maybe it was anything but what her heart was already whispering. Her hands began to shake. When Uche came out of the bedroom, he saw the phone in her hand and stopped working. That was when she knew, not from the message alone, but from his face. A guilty face can confess before the mouth ever opens. Shoma looked at him and asked softly, "Who sent this?" Uche did not answer immediately. He only reached out for the phone, and that hurt her more. Because when truth is innocent, it does not rush to hide. "Who sent this, Uche?" she asked again. This time, her voice broke. Uche sat down slowly on the edge of the bed and rubbed his forehead. Then he said the word that destroys peace in a home faster than shouting ever can. It didn't mean anything. Shoma stared at him. So there it was. Not denial, not outrage, not even a lie good enough to protect her heart. Just that sentence. It didn't mean anything. She laughed once, but it was not laughter. It was pain trying to collapse. "Something that meant nothing to you," she said, "may destroy everything for me." The room becomes silent. Uche finally admitted it has been going on for months. He said it started as talking. He said he was confused. He said he never meant for Shoma to find out. He said many things men say when the secret is no longer secret. But none of these words could put the house back together. That night, Shoma did not scream. She did not throw anything. She did not wake the child. She just sat on the floor beside the bed and cried into her hands where nobody could see her face clearly. There is a kind of crying that comes from sadness, and there is another that comes from betrayal. Betrayal does not only break the heart, it insults the memories. It makes you question every smile, every late night, every excuse you once defended. The next morning, Shoma made breakfast for Amara, braided her hair, buttoned her tiny cardigan, smiled when the child smiled. Because motherhood does not pause when a woman's heart is breaking. She packed a few of her belongings and her daughter's things, then walked away to her friend's house. When her friend saw her face, she needed no long explanation. Pain had already arrived before the word did. Chioma told her friend everything. She listened quietly, then said, "You need to stop thinking about whether he will lose you. Start thinking about whether you are losing yourself." That sentence stayed with her. For the first time in 5 years, Chioma stopped worrying about saving the marriage and started asking whether the marriage had been saving or draining her. Meanwhile, Uche remained in the house alone. At first, he thought she only needed time. He thought flowers would help. He thought apologizing would be enough. But apology sounds different when the wound is still fresh. He called her again and again. Sometimes she answered, sometimes she did not. When she finally spoke to him properly, her voice was calm, too calm, and that frightened him, because a woman crying still has hope somewhere inside her pain. But a woman who becomes calm after betrayal has started rebuilding herself in silence. Days later, Uche came to visit Chioma at her friend's house. He met Chioma sitting outside watching Amara play with a little doll on the ground. For a few seconds, nobody spoke. Then Uche said, "I made a mistake." Chioma looked at him and replied, "No, a mistake is forgetting a date. A mistake is taking the wrong road. What you did was a choice," repeatedly. He lowered his head. She continued, "The worst part is not even that you cheated. The worst part is that you came home every day, looked me in the eye, and let me continue loving you honestly while you were living dishonestly." Uche's eyes filled with tears. He tried to hold her hands, but she moved it away gently, not with anger, with clarity. That evening, after he left, Amara ran to her mother and asked, "Mommy, are you sad?" Chioma forced a smile and carried her into her arms. Children notice pain even when they do not understand the reason for it. That night, Chioma lay awake beside her daughter and thought about everything: the years, the love, the lies, the betrayal, the woman she used to be, the woman she was becoming. And then she realized something important. You can forgive someone and still refuse to return to the version of yourself that tolerated what broke you. A week later, both families arranged a meeting. Uche came with tears, regrets, and promises. Chioma came with silence, dignity, and a mind that was finally awake. When it was her turn to speak, she did not shout. She simply said, "Trust is like a clean white cloth. Once it is stained, you may wash it, but you will always remember where the mark first appeared. So if there is to be any future, it cannot be built on my pain alone. It must be built on trust, accountability, and real change." Nobody in the room spoke after that, because wisdom does not need to be loud to be powerful. Uche agreed to counseling. He ended the affair completely. He gave full honesty where scarcity once lived. But Chioma did not rush. She watched, she prayed, she healed slowly. And that was the difference. Before, she loved from fear of losing him. Now, she shows from understanding her own value. Months later, there was still pain, but there was also light. Whether their marriage would fully survive was a journey still unfolding. But one thing had already changed forever. Chioma was no longer the woman who would ignore her own wound just to keep a house standing. And she had found her voice. And sometimes that is where healing truly begins. Never beg for honesty from someone who was comfortable lying to you. And never forget this: the day a woman remembers her worth is the day silence stops being weakness. If you were Chioma, would you stay and rebuild the marriage, or would you leave for good? The comment section is open. I await your reply. And if you love my story, follow, share, and like. I remain your girl, Bella O. And this is Tales by RS Reality Stories.